Minister, forgive me if I don't put questions in the 4 minutes that I have, but I will raise a number of questions. And so, notwithstanding the Willis report, notwithstanding the Deirdre Madden's report, one was 2006, as you've clearly outlined. 2009 was the Willis one into retained organs in adult patients, and then with the 2009 Carter report in relation to the Rotunda Hospital. At some stage along the line, I think there was a Dunn report that wasn't published. You might clarify that. And so then within that background, we have practices and procedures that were clearly ignored, and unfortunately perinatal organs were sent off to be incinerated along with refuse. We've heard that. So let's see what's happened here. The management became aware of that way back in 2020, April or May. They then notified the department. What did the department do? Can you tell me? You haven't mentioned the department's role in it. But when they did contact the department, and they wrote, I understand, specifically to the Chief Clinical Officer, and they pointed out at the incident report what happened, and they were asked then, was it a serious incident? And the answer was, well, no, but there is a risk of adverse publicity. Now this, again, echoes here, more than echoes of the cancer debacle, cervical cancer, the exact same thing, concern about adverse publicity, not about the patients, not about the families, not about the perinatal organs. And what happened? What did the Chief Clinical Officer do? Can you tell me? What did the department do? Because we're here today because of Primetime Investigates. We're not here from anything to do with a hospital telling us that they made a mistake, they learned from it, and they immediately contacted the families. We're here because of Primetime Investigates. And we learned from Primetime Investigates that some of the families learned the night before in relation to what happened. That's been raised already. I'm raising it again now. And so, specifically, what did the department do? What did the hospital do? This goes back well before COVID. I understand it goes back to May 19, well before COVID, and November 19. And then we come forward into COVID, and of course there was a problem with COVID. But what happened in the meantime? What about the practices on the ground and the open disclosure that told the department, look, we put our hands up, we've been very silly here, we've held on to organs too long, perinatal organs, we haven't a proper system in place, we need help here. Fast forward, how did this arise in the first place, really, is what I haven't had personal experience, and I won't go into it, of systems review. I despair. I don't have much confidence in it, but I'll hold my words until I see it. But certainly my own experience, both professional and personal, are not good in relation to systems review, let me say that. We'll go on then to look at assurances, that you're seeking assurances. Now, you need to do a lot more than seek assurances. I'm tired of assurances. As my colleague has said, I'm sure if we asked the Cork Maternity Hospital for assurances, they would have given us the assurances we wanted. We don't want assurances. We want to know what happened. Since 2012, there was an obligation on them in relation to the procedures, the practices, the processes. They failed to comply utterly. Telling us today about legislation, that's the least we might do. And then the final question, Minister, you only learned from Primetime. Did you only learn from Primetime when I was listening to your speech? That you found out only from Primetime. You didn't find out from your department a year, during that whole year when they knew. You knew nothing. And you only learned from Primetime. Are we to believe that? And what's happened there with communication if that's the situation? And at any stage, did anyone realise this is something that we should report properly to the department? The department should have reacted properly and said, this is a serious, more than an incident. This is painful, this is wrong, you've utterly failed to comply with procedures. Now what are we going to do about it with our hands up? Did that happen? Because, and finally, in the 12 seconds, I think it's really unacceptable, and I'm the first to say we all get caught at committee meetings, but for government backbenchers not to be here to ask questions speaks volumes about what they place importance on, and then complain when they haven't time for other subjects. I'll be caught later on tonight. I'm the first to put my hands up, but this is a very serious issue and a serious lack of participation. Garamagat.